Okay, so find a comfortable seat. So feel your sits bones grounding into your mat. Let the crown of the head float up towards the sky. Draw the shoulders back and down. And let's just place both hands over the heart. And then close your eyes and take a few moments to just bring your awareness to all the abundance in your life. The many things that you can be grateful for. Your family and friends, your home, your health, the abundant amount of food in your refrigerator, maybe the different experiences you've had in your life. We're all so blessed with abundance in so many ways. The problem is we often tend to focus too much on what we don't have or what we might lose. So try not to let the fear of losing something lessen the joy in the present moment. And this is a practice called Aparigraha, and it's something we learn about when we study the Yoga Sutras. And Aparigraha translates to non-grasping or non-attachment. And it's about acknowledging that what you have is more than enough. If you don't want something, you can't be disappointed if you don't get it. And it also refers to non-attachment. If we can cultivate an attitude of indifference, not attaching ourselves to material things or even ideas and our beliefs, sometimes we get really attached to those things. But if we can practice this non-attachment, then there's no fear of losing these things. And even if we do lose something, it doesn't destroy us. In fact, we're able to let go and accept the loss as an opportunity to grow and adapt and to welcome something new. So maybe just notice a little bit this morning as you move through your practice, if you find yourself getting attached to any ideas about your practice or your body, or if you find yourself kind of wishing something were different or wishing you could express a pose in some different way. And then just practice that letting go and being aware that you are exactly where you need to be in your practice. And just practice being grateful. And now with your next inhale, you can gently open your eyes. We're going to start to sweep our arms out to the side and up to the sky, nice and slow, bringing the hands together at the end of that inhale. And then exhale, bringing the hands to heart center, coming back to our center. And then inhale again, slowly reach the arms out and up. Hands come together overhead, and as we exhale, we slowly bring hands to heart center. And then let's pause for just a moment at the end of the exhale. And then again, inhale, slowly reaching out and up. And exhale to center and pause. And just do a few more rounds of this at your own pace. Eyes can be open or closed. Maybe rounding forward just a little bit as you come back to heart center. Feeling the front body open as you reach up so that we're starting to bring a little movement into the spine. And the next time you bring hands to heart center, we'll pause here. Just taking a moment or two to be with our breath, to be in the moment. Good, and then release the hands down. We'll switch the position of the legs. So bring the other leg in front. Bring your right hand to the floor beside you. Inhale the left arm up and over. So coming into this lateral stretch, stretching through the left side body. Keep the left sit bone grounded. Draw the shoulders away from your ears. Turn your heart more towards the sky, maybe even gazing up if that feels okay on the neck. And with your next breath in, see if you can bring a little more stretch and length to that right side body, so we're not collapsing into that side, and then reaching over a little further. And then inhale, coming up to center. We'll take the left hand to the ground, right arm reaches up and overhead. So again, shoulders draw away from the ears. We ground into that right sit bone, opening our heart towards the sky, maybe gazing up. Inhaling to create more length in that left side body, and exhale, reaching out a little further. And then inhale, returning to center. Good. So now straighten your legs out in front of you. Bring your feet hip width apart and flex the feet, grounding into the sit bones again. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. And as you exhale, keep reaching and lengthening as you hinge through the hips, folding forward, coming forward slowly, and then eventually letting the hands rest either at the feet or on the mat next to the legs, letting the head drop towards your shins, and just breathing into the back body. Envision the breath moving up and down the spine as if it's massaging the vertebrae. And with your next inhale, reach long through the arms again, draw the navel towards the spine, rise all the way back up, and then release the arms down. Okay, now we're gonna bend that right knee, bring the sole of the right foot up against the inner left thigh. Okay. And then we're gonna twist this a little bit so that we're centering our sternum over that extended leg. So I like to place both hands on either side of that leg. And just, I can use the hands just gently for a little bit of leverage to bring that sternum right over the leg, okay? And then inhale, reach up through the right arm. Exhale, hinge, reaching for the outside of that left foot or left leg. And then bending through that right elbow a little bit, trying to bring the right ribs a little closer to the left thigh for a twist. So maybe even gazing back towards that left hip if that feels comfortable. With each breath in, see if you can lengthen through the spine a little bit more. And then with each exhale, see if you can find a little deeper twist. We never want to be too forceful. Just finding that nice sensation in the body. Trying to keep that right sit bone grounded. Maybe even drawing that right knee a little more towards the floor. Good. And then we're going to invite a little bit of a flow, so moving with the breath. So on your next inhale, we're going to sit up. We're going to sweep the right hand to the mat behind us, and then sweep the left arm around in front as you lift the hips. And then exhale, bring the hips back down, swing the arms around, folding over the extended leg again for a little bit of a twist. And then inhale, right hand behind, left arm sweeps across in front, lift the hips. Exhale, hips down, fold over that extended leg. And then last time, inhale, lift the hips, and hold here for a couple of breaths. So here you can either focus on lengthening through that left side from the outer left foot through the left fingertips, or you can drop that left arm back behind you, opening your heart more towards the sky, and maybe finding more of a back bend. We'll take one more deep breath in here, and then exhale, release back down. Good. And then straighten out that right leg, and we'll switch sides. So bending the left leg, bringing that left foot in towards the right thigh. Okay. And then turning to your right enough to center your sternum over that extended leg and sitting up tall. Okay. With your next breath in, reach your left arm towards the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Keep reaching out to lengthen, and then bring your hand to the outside of that right foot or the right leg. And then bend through the left elbow. See if you can bring your left ribs closer to your right thigh. Maybe gazing back towards your right hip. And again, with each inhale, trying to create more length in the spine, more expansion through the ribs. And as you exhale, finding a little deeper expression of this pose without force. Always being gentle to yourself, kind to yourself and your body. And then with your next breath in, we'll start that flow. So sitting up, bringing the left hand behind you. Inhale, the right arm sweeps across in front as you lift the hips. And then exhale, hips come down. We swing that left arm around to grab the outside of the right leg. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, fold over that extended leg for the twist. And then last time, inhale, lift, and pause here. So again, maybe focusing on that lateral stretch, or you could try to find a bit of a back bend, dropping that right arm behind you and opening the heart. Take one more deep breath in, and then exhale, releasing back down. Good. Now let's bring the soles of the feet together in a bound angle. And you decide how far or how close you want the feet to your body, okay? Some days it feels good to take the feet far apart. Some days it feels good to bring them close in. And sometimes it's nice to just have it somewhere in between. So it's up to you. Listen to your body. Find your sit bones. See if you can get that tailbone a little more back behind you. And then just hold on to your legs or your ankles or your feet. Find a long spine. Sit up tall, draw the shoulders back, opening through the front of the chest. Take a deep breath in, reaching up through the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, we're going to hinge forward, maintaining that long spine. So you'll probably notice that if the spine is straight, you can't go very far. And that's perfectly fine. The goal is not to get your heart to your toes. Okay, the goal is to have a stretch in the hips, stretching through the low back and inner thighs. With your next exhale, you can let the back round, let the forehead drop, maybe walking the hands forward if that feels right, or just letting the hands rest wherever. Taking a few breaths in here, again, focusing on the back body as you breathe. And then with your next inhale, sitting back up, bring your hands to the outside of the knees, scoop your knees together, and give yourself a hug, curling in here. And then sit up tall again, bring the hands behind you, step the feet mat width apart, and just windshield wiper your knees side to side. Good. And then from here, we'll make our way to table. So coming to your hands and knees, stacking shoulders over wrists and spreading the fingers really wide, stacking hips over knees, and if you can, flatten the tops of the feet to the mat. And then we'll move through a couple cat-cow poses here. So inhaling to cow pose, gazing up, lifting the tailbone, shoulders drawing back towards the hips. And then exhaling to our cat pose as the back body arches towards the sky. We tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. And then just continue moving at your own pace, connecting the movement to the breath. Feel free to explore any different variations of cat-cow if something a little different is calling to you. Sometimes a barrel roll feels good, or just getting the hips and shoulders into it a little bit more. Good. And then coming back to center. Let's tuck the toes under, and on your next exhale, float the knees an inch off the mat. So stay active in the hands, keep pressing into the mat, drawing navel to spine, and just floating here for a moment or two. Just engaging the abs. Good. And then lift the tailbone, press the tailbone up and back, finding downward facing dog. And move around a little bit for the first few breaths, maybe taking hips side to side or walking out the legs. And then finding a bit of stillness here. Again, making sure the fingers are spread wide, feet are hip width apart, shoulder blades drawing back towards the hips. On your inhale, gaze forward towards the top of your mat, and on your exhale, walk forward. Coming into a standing forward fold, Uttanasana, feet hip width apart. Okay, and just a reminder, we can always measure that by bringing two fists between the big toe mounds. And then let there be some kind of bend in the knees. You can bend them just a little or maybe a lot. Tuck your chin to interlace the hands behind the back body. And then start to lift the hands up and away from the body. So coming into a little shoulder stretch here. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the shoulders away from the ears. Tuck the chin, and lift all 10 toes. And release the toes down, release the arms, bend the knees a lot, and start to reach the arms up in front, coming into chair pose. So gaze down at your knees for a moment. Make sure they don't go in front of the toes. Okay. Biceps come alongside the ears. Unless you've got some shoulder issues, you might prefer cactus or maybe even hands at the hips. Okay. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we're going to bring hands together, bring left elbow to right knee for a prayer twist, pressing into the hands to open the chest towards the thumbs, but we're going to flow. So inhale right back to center. Exhale, hands together, right elbow to left knee. Press the hands together, open your chest to twist. Inhale to center. We're going to do that twice more on each side. One more time on each side. We're almost done. Waking up those thighs. So with your next exhale, releasing back to standing forward fold. Take any arm version you want here. Sometimes ragdoll is nice, hands at opposite elbow crease. You can be still or you can sway a little side to side. Good, and then coming to center here, we're gonna press into the feet, draw navel to spine, and then with the flat back and arms extended out from the shoulders, we're gonna slowly rise all the way up to standing and reach up towards the sky. And then exhale, hands to heart center. And then just pausing for a moment here. Giving yourself another opportunity to be grateful for everything that you have, all of the abundance in your life, knowing that it's more than enough. So with your next inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward. Take a deep breath in, lift halfway. Bring hands to the shins or thighs, torso parallel to the earth, lengthening from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, maintain the length in your spine as you return to the forward fold. And then we're going to step back to downward facing dog. Press into the hands, spread the fingers wide. Turn the inner thighs towards the wall behind you. And then inhale, float forward to plank. Stack shoulders over the wrists. Think of squeezing the sits bones together, wrapping the shoulder blades onto the back, pressing back through the heels and lengthening out through the crown of your head. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, drop the knees and draw the heels in towards your glutes. Now, if there's any discomfort on your knees here, you might choose to keep the knees lifted. But we're trying to find a plank on the knees. So you should have a fairly straight line from the knees through the hips to the shoulders. And then on your next exhale, you're gonna bend the elbows straight back so they stay close to the body and you slowly lower all the way down to the mat. And then release the feet down. Inhale, draw your heart forward, lift your head and chest. Squeeze the elbows in. Exhale, release, bringing the forehead back to the ground. Inhale again, drawing the heart forward, lifting the head and chest. Elbows hug in, shoulders back. Exhale, release. And then one more time, inhale to cobra and pause here. So you can pretend to drag the hands back to help find a little more length through the front body. Keep the feet actively pressing into the mat. And with your next exhale, release. Now inhale, press into the hands. We're going to come up and back to extended child's pose. Take the knees wide apart. Bring the hips to the heels and walk your hands forward as you rest your forehead on the mat. Take a few deep breaths here, maybe closing the eyes. On your next inhale, making your way back to downward facing dog. Lifting the tailbone, pressing the tailbone up and back. Maintaining some kind of bend in the knees. So the more you feel your low back rounding, the deeper you should bend your knees. So the object here is to really lengthen through the spine. If you're feeling a big hamstring stretch, that's another clue to bend the knees more. Now on your next inhale, we're going to lift the left leg high. Exhale, shift forward, bringing left knee to left elbow, shoulders to stack over the wrist. And then inhale back to your three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to right elbow for a twist. Inhale, take it back. Exhale, slowly step that foot forward for a lunge. Okay, stacking left knee over left ankle, actively pressing back through the right foot. Taking a moment here, finding that engagement through the lower body, lifting the heart, drawing the shoulders back. Good. On your next inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up towards the sky, coming into a crescent lunge. Exhale, draw shoulders down away from your ears. Keep that front knee stacked over the ankle. Inhale, open your arms wide, lift through the heart. Exhale, bring the hands together up overhead again. Exhale, bring the hands back down to your mat. Step the front foot back, coming into plank. Pause here. Find strength and length in this pose. On your exhale, drop the knees, draw heels in towards your glutes. Find that plank on the knees, so nice straight body. On your exhale, bend the elbows straight back, lower all the way down, nice and slow, and then release the feet. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Inhale, draw your heart forward, lift the head and chest, maybe coming to up dog this time. Okay, but if you feel more comfortable in Cobra, of course, stay there. Always listening to your body. On your next exhale, we'll make our way back to down dog. You can come through table or through plank. Take a few breaths in your down dog. On your next breath in, we're going to lift the right leg high. Exhale, right knee to right elbow as you shift forward to stack shoulders over wrists. Inhale, back to three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to left elbow. Inhale, take it back. Exhale, slowly step it forward between the hands for a lunge. Good. Ground into that front foot. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Press back through that back heel. Draw your heart forward, shoulders back. Again, feel that strength, stability, and power through the low body. And then with your next inhale, press into the front foot. Reach the arms towards the sky. Sink the hips a little bit deeper. Should feel a nice hip flexor stretch in that left leg. Shoulders draw down away from the ears. Take a deep breath in. As you open the arms wide, lift through the heart. Exhale, bring the hands together overhead. And then with your next exhale, Hands come back to the mat. Step back to plank. And this time just lift the hips and press back to down dog. Pressing your heart back towards your thighs, relaxing the head and neck. Reconnecting with the breath. And then inhale, gaze forward. As you exhale, step walk or float to standing forward fold. We'll hang out here for a few breaths. So maybe you can touch your toes, maybe you can't. Trust that whatever you can do in this moment is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So let go of any expectations you have of something different and just enjoy the moment for what it is. Be grateful for what your body can do. With your next inhale, bend the knees deeply, reach the arms up in front, coming back to your chair pose. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bring hands to heart center. We're going to bring right elbow to left knee. So just once this time, pressing the palms together, opening your chest towards your thumbs, finding that deep twist. Now, start to bring your weight more into your left foot. Lift that right heel, and then lift the toes, and see if you can step that right leg way back, coming into a twisted lunge. Little bit of a challenge there with the balance. Good. Now, with your next inhale, we're going to drop that back heel, swivel the arms around to come into warrior two. And then bring your awareness to this front knee. Try to stack it over the ankle and draw it more towards the pinky toe edge side of your foot. Root through the outer edge of the back foot. Arms should be lifted shoulder height. And then without moving the lower body, just reach back an inch through the arms to stack shoulders over hips. On your next inhale, we'll come into reverse warrior. Exhale, left elbow to left knee, right arm reaches up and overhead. Inhale to a 5-pointed star facing the side of your mat. Toes turned out. So we're going to move through another flow to center ourselves, much like we started class with. So take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bend the knees, slowly bring hands to heart center. Pause for a moment at the end of that exhale. And then inhale, nice and slow, reaching the arms out and up as you straighten the legs, bringing the hands overhead at the end of that inhale. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Keep the shoulders stacked over the hips, bending the knees deeply. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center, pausing for a moment at the end of the exhale. Inhale, reach up. One more time. Good. Now, with this next exhale, you'll bring the hands together. You're going to turn left toes towards the top of your mat, right heel towards the back of your mat. Start to lift that back heel, bend the front knee, and we're going to come back to that prayer twist. Right elbow to left knee. Good. Inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale, the hands come down to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Or child's pose. So take a few minutes here. If you feel like your breath is a little labored or your mind is wandering to someplace else, you might be wiser to come into child's pose. Just come to a place where you can be present. And then if you're in child's pose, take a moment to come back to downward facing dog. And then with our next breath in, we'll all gaze forward and exhale, make your way to the top of your mat, coming into that standing forward fold. Good. Then bend the knees deeply, inhale the arms up in front for chair pose. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, hands come together, bring left elbow to right knee. Press the palms together, turn your heart towards your thumb. Keep the hips nice and low, keep the knees aligned. Good, then we're gonna bring the weight to that right foot. We're gonna slowly start to lift the left foot, and it might take you a few steps to take it back, or see if you can take it back in one big steady swoop, nice and gentle. Remaining in this twist, but now we're in the lunge. And on your next inhale, we're gonna drop that back heel, sweep the arms around to come into warrior two. Ground through the outer edge of that back foot. Draw the front knee more towards the pinky toe side of the foot. Arms lifted shoulder height. Keep the lower body steady and just reach back an inch with that left arm. Okay, with your next inhale, we'll come into reverse warrior. Right arm sweeps up and back. Exhale, extended side angle. So right elbow to the right knee. Left arm sweeps up and overhead. And then inhale up to five-pointed star. So same thing again. We're gonna move through that flow to center. So deep breath in. Exhale, hands come through heart center as we bend the knees deeply. Pause at the end of the exhale. Inhale, sweep the arms slowly up towards the sky. Exhale to center. Pause. Inhale. Sweep the arms out and up. Exhale to center and pause. Inhale, reach up. Hold here at the top. Okay, so we're going to come back to that lunge twist again. So hands to heart center. Turn the feet towards the front of your mat. Lift that back heel. Bring left elbow to right knee. Press into the palms. Find your twist. And then inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to down dog. And then let's all take a child's pose. So go ahead and come down, rest hips on heels, forehead on the mat. Close your eyes. Find your breath. With your next inhale, we're going to shift forward, coming onto our bellies. Now keep your right hand underneath your right shoulder. Extend the left arm out in a T. Okay. And then on your exhale, we're going to roll to our left side towards that extended arm. Try to rest your head on the mat if you can, or if you've got something close by that you want to use to prop your head, you can. So now you've got a couple different options for the leg. So you could keep that right leg straight and just kind of bring it to the floor behind the left leg. That gives me kind of a nice stretch in my right outer hip. Or you could bend that knee, planting the sole of the foot either in front of or behind that left leg. So it's your choice. Find what feels best and then settle into it. The more you roll towards that extended arm, of course, the more intense of a stretch you'll feel on the front of that left shoulder. You can also adjust the intensity by either crawling that left hand forward towards the top of your mat for more intensity, or back towards the back of your mat for less intensity. And if the fingers start to tingle at all, just wiggle the fingers around, or you can make a fist. Take one more breath. And then as you exhale, return to your belly, and we'll switch sides. So bring left hand to the mat underneath the left shoulder. Extend that right arm out to the side. And then we're going to roll towards that extended arm. So coming to your right side. And again, see if you can rest your head on the ground or a prop if you need to. And then you decide what to do with the legs. Maybe you just leave them stacked and do nothing. Maybe you take that left leg behind you, either straight or bent knee in front. Play around with the different positions of that right arm. You want to find a nice sensation in the body, a nice stretch, but no pain. Know the difference. Listen to your body. Use your breath to invite a little ease into the places that are resisting, places that feel tense or tight. Take one more deep breath in, and then exhale, return to the belly. And then let's come to Sphinx pose. Elbows on the mat, stacked underneath your shoulders. Heart drawing forward, shoulders drawing back. And then we're going to do a little counter twist for the shoulders, which is kind of funky, sometimes referred to as pretzel twist. Okay, so take your left hand, reach it through underneath you so the bicep kind of crosses the heart, and then your right hand reaches the other way. So basically, we're crossing the arms just below your chest. So you should feel a nice stretch on the back of the shoulder blades. And then just drop your chin. Maybe your chin can rest on the upper arms. Your palms should be up towards the sky. Then we're going to switch the position of the arms. So I like to kind of crawl my elbows in to come up a little bit, and then take that left arm in front. And then again, take the hands as far away from you as you can. Arms should be crossing below your chest, and then just drop your chin towards your arms. And then inhale, work your way out of the pretzel twist, coming back to Sphinx again, shoulders drawing back, heart reaching forward. Maybe you feel a little stretch in the front of the belly. You can pretend to drag the elbows back to help intensify that front body stretch. Good. And then release, slide the hands back in underneath the shoulders. Cross into the hands. We're going to come back to another version of child's pose, this time with the knees together, also known as embryo. Bring the hands back by your feet. Rest your forehead or the top of your head on the floor. Just letting the shoulders kind of drape alongside the body, alongside the legs. We'll come into rabbit pose from here, which is a nice counter stretch for the back bending we were doing in Sphinx. So hold on to your heels with your hands. Really tuck your chin so that the crown of the head is on the ground. And then as you inhale, start to lift the hips away from the heels. So the arms will get pulled kind of straight. You might feel a nice little stretch through the back of the shoulders again. Draw navel to spine. And just make sure you're not putting too much pressure on the neck in this pose. Good. And then release hips to heels again. Bring the hands to the mat by your knees and sit up. All right. Let's take the legs out in front. Okay. We'll actually lay back from here. So hug the knees in as you roll back and then rock side to side. Or maybe make some circles with the knees. Just finding maybe a little massage on the low back. And then bring the feet to the mat, arms resting alongside your body. And then extend your right leg towards the sky. Sole of the foot pressing up towards the ceiling or the clouds. Now interlace your hands and place them in front of that right thigh. Okay. Option here for a little bit more challenge, you could extend that left leg out, either resting on the floor or floating it an inch off the floor. Okay. And then on your exhale, you're going to press your hands into that right leg as the right leg presses back into the hands. So it's an isometric. Your low back should be pressing down into the mat. You should be working pretty hard here, maybe even shaking or trembling a bit. That's a good sign. Good. And then release, hug the knees in. Maybe rock side to side. And then bringing the feet back to the mat, we'll switch sides. So extend your left leg towards the sky. Flexing the foot, pressing up through the heel. Option to extend the right leg straight, either resting it on the floor or floating it for an extra challenge. And then interlace your hands in front of your left thigh. On your exhale, press the low back down into the mat. Press your hands into your leg like you're pushing the leg away, but then the leg resists. The leg pulls back into the hands. So it's a lot of work. Again, maybe you tremble a little bit. If you're shaking, you're doing it right. So keep working, keep pushing and pulling, keep breathing, and then release and hug it in. And rock side to side. Good job. Okay, now bring your feet to the mat width apart, cactus your arms, and windshield wiper your knees side to side. Next time your knees fall to the right, go ahead and stay there. If you want to pick up that right foot, rest it on top of the left knee, and just think of lengthening that left knee away from the hip, and then lengthening the left arm away from the hip in the opposite direction. Okay. And then inhale, come back to center, feet mat width apart. Slowly drop the knees over to the left. Option to take that left foot and rest on top of the right knee, driving that right knee away from the right hip and reaching the right arm in the opposite direction. So you've got a long line from right fingertips to right knee. With your next inhale, return to center. Let's hug the knees into the chest again. Maybe rocking again side to side. And then keep the knees hugged in towards your chest, but release the arms out in a T, palms face up. As you exhale, start to lower your knees to the right. And just before they reach the floor, ground through that left shoulder, inhale back to center. Exhale, start to lower the knees to the left. And again, just before they reach the floor, ground that right shoulder and come back to center. Let's do that twice more on each side, moving slowly with control, a little bit of ab work as well as a twist. And then we'll come over to the right one last time, letting the knees come all the way down to the ground and just settling into an effortless twist for a few moments, for a few breaths. So just close your eyes, connect with your breath. Create space in the body as you breathe in, and just let go as you breathe out. Allow yourself to be present, to be content with where you are in this moment. And then with your next inhale, slowly make your way through center. Take the knees over to the left for one final twist, settling in, letting the legs rest, closing your eyes, breathing in to create that space, and breathing out as you let go. Let go of thoughts in the mind, ideas, beliefs, expectations, and just be. With your next inhale, come back to center. Give yourself one final hug, squeeze everything in, lift your head, curl into a little ball. And then inhale, release, and stretch out for Shavasana. Take up some space. Turn your palms up towards the sky, rolling the shoulder blades underneath the back. Let the feet fall gently out to the side and the fingers gently curl in. Relax the jaw. Allow yourself to feel heavy on your mat, supported by the earth. Allow yourself to float somewhere between consciousness and unconsciousness. Like that moment just before you fall asleep, when time seems to stand still and nothing else matters. Just you and your breath on your mat. Now take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale through the mouth. Start to bring your awareness back into your body by wiggling your fingers and your toes, your hands and your feet. Gently rocking your head side to side, opening your mouth and wiggling your jaw. And then slowly reach your arms out overhead, finding one more long stretch, lengthening through one side of the body and then the other, and then both. And then draw the knees in and roll to one side in the fetal position. We'll take a few more moments on our side as I share with you this short story. This is called The Wise Woman's Stone, and the author is unknown. A wise woman who was traveling in the mountains found a precious stone in a stream. She reverently placed the gem in her bag. The next day, she met another traveler who was hungry. The wise woman opened her bag to share her food. The hungry traveler saw the precious stone in the wise woman's bag, admired it, and asked the wise woman to give it to him. The wise woman did so without hesitation. The traveler left, rejoicing in his good fortune. He knew the jewel was worth enough to give him security for the rest of his life. But a few days later, he came back, searching for the wise woman. When he found her, He returned the stone and said, I've been thinking. I know how valuable the stone is, but I would like to exchange it in the hope that you can give me something much more precious. If you can teach me the secrets about the power you have within you, the power that enabled you to, without hesitation, give me this precious stone. So it seems the wise woman is well practiced in Aparigraha, non-attachment. Such a valuable gift. Keep your eyes closed. Slowly start to make your way back to seated. We'll meet with hands at heart center and Anjali Mudra. And then I invite you to join me in chanting Om one time to seal our practice. Let's take a deep breath in together. Om. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Namaste.